Hello, my friends, and welcome to an episode of the REP podcast. My name is Ariana. I'm so happy to have you with me today. Today's episode is all about holistic health. We're going to cover foundational concepts, principles, and practices of holistic health for listeners who are new to this topic. So I'm a holistic therapist, and when I tell people this, I'm often faced with quizzical looks, and I often feel like I have to explain what holistic health in general is. So this episode is dedicated to everyone who I've encountered that has a question about holistic health. And also I thought to record it and publish it because if there's anyone out there that's in this field, so anyone who is in the health and wellness industry who considers holistic health to underpin the work that they do, if you have any clients, family members, friends who have questions about holistic health, my hope is that you can send this across to them so that they too will understand these foundational principles and concepts and also be able to take some of these practices, which I will share with you at the end of the episode, into their own lives and use them to create more of a holistic life for themselves too. Holistic health is based on the understanding that optimal health and wellness can only be achieved by considering the whole person. And the whole person is physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They are 4 quadrants of a whole. This approach then recognizes the interconnectedness of all 4 parts of us, these aspects, and then it seeks to address imbalances or issues in one area that may, and quite often does, affect the other areas. So here's what I mean. Let's look at the mind and the body and the spirit. So sometimes we can take these 4 segments and actually put them into 3 parts. We can consider the mental and emotional bodies, the mind and emotions, to be one. All right, because the mind produces the emotions. And so whilst I have other episodes that cover this, and I will link them in the show notes below if you've got any intrigue on how your mind and your emotions work together, you can go and listen to that. But sometimes we take these 4 segments and we compartmentalize them into 3, mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so when we look at the mind, we know that it plays a crucial role in healing when you look at it from a holistic standpoint. So our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions impact our physical health. As an example of this, we can look at chronic stress and how when you are stressed over a long period of time, this weakens the immune system. Okay, this then over a long period of time can lead to illness. We can look at practices which I'll share more of towards the end of the episode, but practices like meditation, mindfulness, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and also NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, can help cultivate this positive mindset to help us reduce stress to support our overall well-being. Okay, so this is the mind. Then when we look at the body, we know for a fact that the body is super complex, right? It's a system that requires proper care and nourishment. When we look at it through a holistic healing lens, the holistic health model emphasizes the importance of nutrition, exercise, sleep, and other physical practices to support the body's natural healing processes. And it also recognizes the body's innate ability to heal itself when given the right conditions. This is a big one, for me anyway. This is one of the things that I focus on a lot in my coaching because I feel like we're in such a rush, and sometimes rightly so. There are things that need to be done and timelines, but a lot of the times we self-impose those timelines and we don't really need to get everything done in the time frame that we think we need to get it done. But then what we do is we push ourselves to the point of exhaustion. Our bodies just cannot keep up with it anymore, and that in turn then dulls the body's natural healing processes. Okay, then we go into the spiritual aspect. Now, we can look at spirit from a truly spiritual perspective, whether it be through religious or spiritual practices, yes. But what I want to consider it as part of a holistic model is that the spiritual aspect is really about finding meaning, purpose, and connection to something greater than oneself. So yes, you can do that through religious or spiritual practices, but you can also do it through nature, art forms, or any other type of self-expression. So when we look at cultivating a sense of spirituality, what we're looking to do through this process, through the lens of holistic healing, is find something that provides comfort, hope, and a deeper understanding of life's challenges, and that in turn will support healing on a foundational level. When we look at the approach to holistic healing, there are about 4 ways that I myself love to integrate holistic approaches as part of my coaching and therapy practice. So the first thing that I do when someone walks through my virtual doors, and any holistic therapist or healer will probably do the same thing, and whether it be in this order or not, maybe they add a couple of extra little steps, that's totally fine, but this is what I do. So the first thing is that I do a comprehensive assessment. I assess not only the physical symptoms that the person has, but also the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects, so that I can understand the root cause of the issue. And one thing that I always say to my students is that it's never the thing that your clients come to you for. It's not even the thing underneath the thing. It's the thing underneath the thing, underneath the thing, underneath the thing. Basically taking and peeling off the layers of what the person is presenting from a symptom point of view and looking at the root cause. As an example of this, it could be someone who comes to you because they're feeling anxious. Anxiety then is the symptom of something that's happening in their life, and they may come to me to help them with their anxiety, but there's something that's triggering the anxiety that we will need to figure out. And it's never what they think it is. Say someone's coming to me because they have a fear of flying. The anxiety is triggered because of the fear of flying. It's never the fear of flying that we'll address. There's something else that's happening underneath the fear of flying. So in this example, it could be claustrophobia, and it's never the claustrophobia that we're addressing. There's something underneath the claustrophobia, right? And so when someone walks through my virtual doors, I'm always on the lookout for the root cause of the issue that is experienced most often in the mental and emotional states of this person's experience. And it can also be the spiritual aspect. So it could be, depending on the belief system of this person, and I mean, sometimes it's true whether this person believes it or not, but it could be something that's happened to their energetic body or their spiritual body, and sometimes even lifetimes before this one. So things that you just cannot explain. The person has no recollection of ever experiencing any sort of trauma or anything related to this topic. I have experienced where we've done some work treating or supporting them through processes that look at previous lifetimes, and you don't even have to understand it. You don't even have to agree with it. You just go through the process that we do as part of my coaching containers, and within a few weeks, they are free from, in this example, the anxiety that they felt when they were flying on planes. So we have to understand that this comprehensive assessment is not really just about the physical symptoms that the person is experiencing, but it also is in many, many layers deeper than what it is that they think they have. Okay, so secondly, I will look at a personalized treatment plan based on that comprehensive assessment. Now, I may look at many different things, but it's generally created that includes a combination of conventional and alternative therapies to address the needs holistically. in the example that I just gave with someone who's got anxiety of flying, we did a lot of neurolinguistic programming to help with the fear and the habits that that person has. We look at things like strategies, the way that they think about the problem, and that is an in-depth process in itself. But other things that we may look at in this example would be some healthcare practices. So, is that person drinking a lot of caffeine? We know that excessive caffeine intake can trigger anxiety. So we may look at ways to reduce caffeine intake, if not in the days leading up to that person taking a flight, then perhaps within the last 24 hours before they step on a plane. We may look at alcohol as well, because we know that alcohol can also trigger anxiety. So we will look at physical practices that can support that person's anxiety. We may also look at things like sleep and supplementation and things that really do support that person's body to prepare for flying, just in general. And so if you think about it from that point of view, we're not just looking through the lens of this person's coming to me with anxiety, let me give them something to stop the anxiety. No. We're looking at the mind, the emotions, the thoughts that the person's having. Of course, that falls into the mind aspect. And then also the body, looking at how they're supporting their physical well-being through that period of what some can consider a really traumatic time. The third thing, which is tied into the second thing, which I just mentioned, is the emphasis on prevention. So holistic healing generally focuses on preventing illnesses, diseases, dis-ease, and maintaining wellness through lifestyle changes, through stress management techniques and self-care practices. Whilst someone may come to see me for specific ailments, like in this case or this example, anxiety, a lot of the times holistic health and well-being practitioners will emphasize whether someone has come through their doors for a specific ailment or not, but they'll emphasize the focus on prevention. And this for me is actually one of the trickiest parts to get clients to subscribe to, and I'll tell you why. So we've been brought up in a model. I myself was brought up in an era, in a country, in a culture where it was kind of dual. In our family, we were very holistic, but in the culture at large, the place where I lived, it was that if you're unwell, take a tablet and that will fix the problem. My family generally is quite holistic in nature, and so I had experience with both of these different ways of being. And there's no wrong or right way, it's just completely different. And quite often now what I see is people coming through who have an issue, they take a tablet and then they think their problems are solved. But the issue is that those tablets generally have side effects, and taken over a long period of time, those side effects can become your way of life. And then you take another tablet to help with the side effects, and then there's side effects of that tablet. And before you know it, you have this cascade of problems that could have been avoided if you understood the root cause of the issue in the first place. And if you're not even experiencing any issues, the issue with that in itself is that people think if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like if I'm not experiencing any problems, I don't need to change my lifestyle at all. And this is such a problem, because just because you don't have any problems now doesn't mean that the problems are not on their way. And this is not a doom and gloom episode, I promise you. But what I do want to emphasize is that we need to look at our lifestyles in order to maintain a future that is well. And what I mean by that is we can live to 80, but be in a wheelchair and take 20 tablets a day in order to stay alive. Or we can live to 80 and have full mobility and feel amazing, even though maybe, we have to go a little bit slower. But our vitality is intact. And so there's this term that we use in the health arena, the holistic health arena, which is, it is not about health span, and it's not about lifespan, it's about health span. So how healthy are you during your life versus how long can you live? Like, you don't want to get to an age where you're alive, but your body is giving up on you. You want your body to be able to maintain your life. You want to be able to go for your walks and play with your grandkids and do the things that you love doing without feeling like you're relying on tablets or people or machines to keep you alive and well. And so this is where this can become a little bit tricky, because in order for us to ensure that we are well in the future, and if you're in your 20s and you're listening to this, you think about yourself in your 60s, and that's such a long way away that you don't even think for one moment that what you do in your 20s is going to affect your 60s. But I can guarantee you it will in some way, shape, or form. And so, it's really important that we start taking care of ourselves the moment we have an awareness of what that means. And we teach our kids how to take care of ourselves, how to take responsibility for our lives and our health and our bodies, and give our bodies the opportunity to repair themselves in a way that will maintain this vitality throughout our years, that we can get to 60, 70, 80, 90 and still live a life that is free from having to rely on external sources to keep us alive. And so this emphasis on prevention is such an important part of the work that we do as holistic therapists and coaches, because our job is to educate people on the many things that our society has deemed normal, and I say that with air quotes, normal, that actually is not normal. And I'll give you an example. So I work with essential oils and have done for the last 8 or 9 years, maybe even longer. And over those years, I have slowly progressed from using chemical products that you can buy on a supermarket shelf to making my own products to clean my home and using products that I make myself to put on my body. I don't buy anything from a supermarket anymore that has anything that you can't eat. So unless I can eat it, it doesn't go on my skin. That's my mantra. Unless I'm willing to put a whole scoop of it in my mouth, I'm not putting it on my skin. So the reason is because a lot of the labeling laws, depending on where you live, they are quite different, but a lot of the labeling laws worldwide doesn't maintain the integrity that we think it does. So there's a lot of things that are placed into these chemical products that when we spray them, we're breathing it in, and those molecules are going into our lungs. And of course, that creates a lot of issues. We've seen a rise in asthma and a whole bunch of respiratory conditions because we are using chemical products that we're breathing in. Not only that, but we're putting these chemicals on our skin. And so the skin being somewhat semi-permeable, a lot of that, what we put on the skin, goes through the dermal layers and reaches the bloodstream. And so that then has an effect on everything in the body. We can see that hormonal issues are becoming a little bit more prominent. And it's no surprise because the things that we think are normal, the things that we've been sold on, commercial platforms and through marketing campaigns, those things are actually really harmful to our health. So simple things that you can do to help with this prevention, they start really small and they seem somewhat insignificant, but they make a huge difference. So, like I just said, changing the cleaning chemicals that you use in your home, the beauty products that you use on your skin, that's where it all starts. And then from there, you can start then swapping out other things. We call them switch and ditch, right? This is the concept that we use in the holistic health arena, switch and ditch. So you switch things up, so switch your chemicals for natural products, and you ditch anything that is not necessary. You don't need 25 different creams for your face of a morning and a night. You can use 1 or 2 basic products that support you seasonally to help your skin. And in fact, I have seen my skin improve dramatically since I've changed from buying the 25 different creams that I thought I needed for. Back then I had problematic acne skin, whereas now by using natural products, I find my skin is just so much more healthy and glowing. So prevention is better than a cure, as we know, and it's really important that we get into that now. And I'm going to list a whole bunch of resources in the show notes. If you are looking for anything, any other questions that I haven't mentioned, please just let me know. But I've popped a link in the show notes that will really help you to make this switch and ditch easy. All right. The fourth thing is the integration of mind, body, and spirit. Okay, we're still on the holistic approach to healing. I've gone through the first 3, which is the comprehensive assessment that I would do with someone. I would create a personalized treatment plan. I would emphasize prevention. And then the fourth thing is I'd integrate it all together. So knowing that the goal of a holistic healing is to integrate the mind, body, and the spirit to promote overall health and well-being, we can add in practices like yoga, meditation, acupuncture, acupressure, acupoint therapy, nutrition, counseling, energy healing, all of these beautiful modalities that can help you to integrate the monkey mind, the physical body, so getting your body to a point where you feel strong and healthy, and then that spiritual aspect as well, which just is all about finding meaning and purpose, and then that connection to something greater than yourself. So that's the holistic approach to healing. We would integrate all those 4 aspects into an offering that can really help you not only look amazing, but feel good from the inside. So when I'm speaking to someone who's completely new to the idea of holistic healing, and they say, I can hear it in their voice that they're not convinced that my way, and I say my way because quite often that's how it feels when I'm being questioned about whether or not holistic health is the way of the future. It's my way versus their way, whether it's something to consider long term. And so, I consider holistic healing to be a comprehensive approach to health and wellness that considers the whole person and not just their symptoms. So when I look at addressing the root cause of their issues and supporting the body's natural healing abilities, the difference between holistic healing models and other models is that holistic healing leads to longer lasting results and improved overall well-being. It does take longer to get there though, which is where patience and endurance and grit and determination do become a part of this process. You need to have discipline. You need to have some sort of vision of how you want your life to be. And this is quite often why people do coaching with holistic health practitioners, because it's easy to just get off track. It's easy just to slip up, and then having that appointment, whether it's weekly or fortnightly with your practitioner, it just helps you to come back into alignment so that you are being encouraged to do the right thing for your health. It empowers individuals to take an active role in their health and make informed decisions about their care. And so this is not really about anyone being told what to do, but it's about the teaching so that you, as someone who's chosen to take responsibility for your health, you know the right questions to ask, where to look for reputable answers, how to feel in your own body if something is working for you or not. Holistic healing is a way of being, it's a lifestyle. Holistic health is about living in alignment with seasons, with your body's natural healing abilities, and really about coming into balance with who you were meant to be on this planet. It's something that's so much bigger than just simply something you do. It's something you be. It's who you become because you're living this lifestyle. It will change everything. And sometimes that's scary. If someone has been addicted to unhelpful patterns, things that they know they're doing that are harmful to not only their bodies, but maybe their self-esteem as well. It's very, very difficult to break up with those addictive patterns, which is why, neurolinguistic programming or cognitive behavioral therapy is really helpful, because we're looking at those habits and those patterns at a subconscious level, so that we're not really dealing with you making a cognitive choice. We're actually looking at the underlying reasons why your subconscious is making those decisions for you. And that's a whole other episode, which I will cover in the future, I promise. Let us flip the script quickly and move to the principles of holistic health. Let's look at 5 principles. This is a comprehensive overview because holistic health is actually based in and on principles that health and wellness are a balance of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So it recognizes, like I said before, the interconnectedness of these aspects, and it seeks to address the imbalances, and it does it through these 5 principles. These 5 principles, I'll rally them off quickly and then we'll go into detail of each one of them. So the first one is unity and balance. The second one, which we've briefly covered, is prevention. The third, which I've just touched on, is natural healing. The fourth is individuality. And then the fifth is lifestyle. So even though these principles may be new to you, the fact that I've addressed them mostly in this whole episode already will give you an insight into how interconnected holistic health is, because there's no one subject that you can address as part of the holistic health healing model that you would not in some way, shape, or form touch on another part. Right? They're all interconnected. So unity and balance is the emphasis of the interconnectedness of the mind, body, spirit. But it recognizes that the imbalances in one area affect the others. And so by pulling on one string, you can actually affect something that's seemingly completely opposite, but that has a major effect on the whole person. So if you want to support someone with, weight loss, let's say someone comes to me for weight loss and I see that they're only sleeping 5 hours a night, I know that the first thing we need to do is address their sleeping habits, and they get really confused. Why? I've come to you so you can help me lose weight. And my answer to that is that firstly, getting a good night's sleep is foundational. You need to have a good night's sleep. There are so many things that come from a good night's sleep. But the most pressing part of this, which generally gets big nods, we sit on Zoom and I can see them have an aha moment, is the fact that we never make good decisions when we are tired. Never, 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 never. And I can guarantee you that that person who's sleeping 5 hours a night can actually sleep more, and that most of their quote unquote bad decisions from a food perspective or from a movement perspective are being made when they're exhausted. So let's get the body's reserves up first so that you're making better decisions from a food and movement perspective. So you look at the fact that the person's not sleeping enough and you think, well, that's not even remotely connected to the fact that I want to lose weight, that I'm, not losing weight. And it really is. And of course, there are other reasons why, how sleep really does encourage weight loss, etc. But that, as being just one minor example, gives you an understanding of how holistic health works when you're looking at it from a principle point of view. The second principle, prevention, as I mentioned, prevention's better than a cure. So we're looking at preventing illnesses, maintaining wellness through proactive measures such as healthy lifestyle choices, stress management, and regular physical activity. We need to make sure that we are looking at our health from all of these aspects, taking care of oneself to prevent illness before it even occurs. And I'll give you some ideas on how you can do that in just a minute. Natural healing is the third principle. Our body has a natural ability to heal itself. It recognizes that when given the right conditions, it can come into homeostasis on its own. Sometimes herbs or supplements can really help facilitate that healing, but we are in turn then just supporting the body to do what it does naturally. So natural remedies, when it comes to this extra support, we want to make sure that those natural remedies are in fact natural and they're not synthesized. Dietary changes can help as well. And all of this is in service to the body doing what it does naturally, healing. The body wants to heal. The body is a machine that wants to be in harmony at all times, but it's the mind that quite often takes us out of that healing, that natural healing process, because it thinks it should be doing other things. It's pushing itself to achieve certain things, or our emotional body comes into play where, there's a lot of different research that's been done with people who don't necessarily want to heal because of the attention that they get when they're unwell. So there's a lot that comes into healing when it comes to the body, the mind and the emotions, but the body in itself wants to heal. It knows exactly what it's doing. It's just that sometimes we put blocks in its way and we don't allow it the time and the space to do what it does naturally. Fourth part of the fourth principle is individuality. And this is something that I haven't covered yet. But the holistic health model recognizes that each person is unique. Health and wellness are individual to the person. So we need to see the importance of personalized care that takes into account a person's unique needs, preferences, and circumstances. And this is sometimes where people get a bit undone because they see a fad or an exercise regime, or they see someone on Instagram doing this new thing and they think, I'm going to do that. It's going to be the best thing for me. And what they actually do is put their body into perhaps a state of stress or disrepair. Perhaps, someone who has been suffering from burnout feels like they're lethargic, and they see an influencer online say, you know what, when you exercise, you actually give yourself more energy. And so then this person pushes themselves in the gym only to find themselves more burnt out. Their cortisol is spiked and they reach adrenal fatigue. And that is a true story, my friends. That was me many years ago, where I thought that the reason I was feeling tired was because I wasn't actually exercising hard enough. That's a true story. And I know that's ridiculous, but if anybody here resonates with that, because you trust people online, you think that everybody has the answer to your question, and you believe people, and they do it in the best intentions. People who are spruiking advice on the interwebs, they're doing it with the best intentions, but we always need to be discerning about what that information means to us on an individual level. Does it really help us or does it harm us? And the thing about holistic health models and working with a coach or a therapist is not only will they support you to find your own individual support strategy, but they will teach you how to figure it out on your own so that you don't need them for the rest of your life, that you then have learned your body's own communication model, and you can then pick up the signals from your body and learn what feels good and what doesn't. And by getting to know yourself in this way, you save yourself not only time and a lot of money, I promise you, but you also gain trust and self-esteem in your ability to understand who you are at a core level and how you want to live your life. And this in turn leads to you living your life with purpose and meaning, because when you're living your life in this way, you're doing the things that you were meant to be doing. You're not living according to someone else's model. You're actually living according to your own internal strategy, your own unique blueprint. Number 5 is holistic lifestyle, as I've mentioned. Lily's just woken up and shaking her ears all over the place. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So holistic health is not just about treating symptoms, it's about adopting a holistic lifestyle that supports overall health and well-being. And so as we've mentioned, this is everything. The 5th principle of this way is that it's your lifestyle. You're not just doing this for a set amount of time. You're doing this for a long period of time. You're changing the way you live. Yeah. We're going to get into a little side note here when it comes to the spiritual perspective and the metaphysics of holistic health. And so this is for anyone who is listening, who has a deep belief that spirituality is a part of the holistic healing method. And I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you have some either intrigue or curiosity to that, or you're fully into it, right? So in addition to all of those principles, the holistic health model often incorporates this spiritual perspective, like I mentioned, and it recognizes the role of spirituality in health and wellness. And it does have this core concept that it's about spiritual meaning or finding meaning and connection, but it can also include beliefs in the metaphysical concepts such as the law of attraction, energy healing, and the power of intention. I do a lot of work with this. For example, the law of attraction suggests that positive or negative thoughts, feelings, they bring about these experiences into someone's life, that there's this magnetic force that draws everything that we're experiencing to us. And so from a holistic perspective, we want to learn how to cultivate the energy of what we're calling in. And that can quite often come from emotional experiences or setting intentions or various practices that we can use to lead to, an improved state of health and well-being. We can also look at energy healing practices such as Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, acupoint therapy. These are all based on the belief that energy flows through the body and that blockages or imbalances in this energy lead to illness. So by clearing these blockages and restoring balance to the body's energy system, these practices aim to promote healing on a mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual level. I have a 10-day practice course, or shall I say practice offering, that's coming up pretty soon. Please pop your name on my mailing list if this is something that you're interested in. We're going to be looking at energy healing practices over a course of 10 days using essential oils, the energetics of essential oils, and also energy healing practices in a short 10-day offering that you can use over and over again on a rinse and repeat cycle to help bring your energy into balance. And then by integrating all of those principles, whether you use your essential oils or just the energy healing practices into your life, the model in itself seeks to promote healing in all areas. So you use these products or you apply them onto energy points in the body, and you feel different. You don't only feel different from a mental and emotional point of view, but your body starts to react differently because you're connecting the dots, the energetic dots within the body, and you're helping energy flow freely through your body. Okay, guys. Oh my goodness, I have been speaking so much. I've been talking nonstop for 40 minutes already. Let's get into some recommendations and draw this episode to a close. So what I really want for you to get from this next section is how to integrate holistic practices into your daily routine. Now, I am going to list off some beginner focus points and then some advanced focus points. But you know what? As I was writing all of these out, I realized that when I speak about advanced practices, I'm not actually speaking about practices that you can't do if you're a beginner. And if you're an advanced practitioner, in my experience, it's actually going back to basics and learning how to do the basics with a completely different lens on from an advanced practitioner's point of view, that you really get to the heart of what these practices mean. So all of that is to say that Even though I mention it's for beginners and for advanced, don't let those two terms stop you from trialing either or, okay? So firstly, we want to make sure that we do whatever it is that we've chosen to do daily, as often as we can, because we see the effects of these practices over a long period of time when we commit to consistent daily practice. Firstly, mindfulness or meditation, or even mindfulness meditation. You can start with short sessions, which are 5 to 10 minutes, and then gradually increase the duration. A really easy way, and I say easy tongue in cheek because it's not really easy. It's simple, but it's not easy, is to focus on your breath and gently guide your mind back when it wanders. The breath becomes what we call an anchor, and you can just focus on your breath. One of the things that I'm doing now at the moment that I'm really loving is to bring my attention to the nostrils, so the opening of either nostril, both of them at the same time, and I focus on my breath going in and out of the nostrils. I don't follow my breath in and out of the body, but I focus my attention on the nostril, on the opening of the nostril, and like a gatekeeper, my awareness lets the breath in and lets the breath out, and I count my breaths. So in and out is 1 breath, in and out 2, in and out 3, and I do that for the duration of 45 minutes at the moment. That's where I'm at. And I started off with a short session, and then I gradually increased my session time so that I now have a 45-minute practice. And if you're an advanced practitioner, which I've been practicing for many years now, so I'd consider myself an advanced practitioner, but this very basic practice is life-changing for me. I'm enjoying it so much. But you may find that that's just not your jam and you don't want to do that. And so advanced practitioners might like to explore different meditation techniques, such as loving kindness meditation, which I've done a podcast episode about this before. I can drop it in the show notes as well. You can do body scans. There's so many different meditation techniques that you can do as advanced practitioners. And I highly encourage that meditation be a non-negotiable in your life. Highly, highly, highly encourage you to do meditation because it is completely life-changing. I promise you. Okay, secondly, healthy eating. This is a non-negotiable as well, right? So for beginners, you may want to just include more whole foods in your diet. Maybe you want to add more vegetables into your meals. You start with simple recipes and then gradually experiment with new ingredients. Keep it super simple. For me, when I was learning how to eat more healthy, I did this challenge, which is called the 9v9 challenge. I'll drop it here in the show notes as well. And it's just basically adding more vegetables to my diet for 9 days. So 9 cups of vegetables for 9 days. And it really taught me, just such a simple concept, taught me about how to fill myself up with vegetables first before adding all of the other things that I thought was food. So that's a very interesting way, an easy way actually, to start eating healthy. For advanced practitioners, you might want to consider a more personalized approach. You could follow a specific dietary plan. You could go see a nutritionist and a naturopath. I'll drop a link of someone who I really, really enjoy seeing and who's helped me get my health back on track. If that's something that you'd like to do, feel free to reach out to someone in your area or follow the link in the show notes. The third thing that I would suggest is physical activity. So for beginners, you want to start with low impact exercises like walking, yoga, tai chi. If you can do it for 30 minutes, most days of the week, you're good, right? For advanced practitioners, you might want to do something a little bit more challenging. So things like strength training. If you're the outdoorsy type of person, maybe you want to go hiking, maybe you want to join a dance class, So you want to extend yourself however feels most comfortable to you, always taking into consideration how you feel, not necessarily after the activity, because your endorphins could be quite high and you may be feeling amazing, but how do you feel for days afterwards? One of the things that I myself have done and that I encourage my clients to do is to buy some sort of a heart rate monitor or even an Aura ring, which I'll drop a link in the show notes below for you as well. But what this does is it really helps you to understand how you recover from a heart rate perspective, respiration perspective, from a breathing perspective. How is your body recovering from activity? Now, I myself have found that gentle, low impact exercises actually serves me better than high intensity workouts. So for me, for years, I was doing high intensity workouts 5-6 times a week. And I was wondering why I was never feeling better. So basically, I would feel exhausted the next day, jump on the bike, push myself to the limit, get this high endorphin high, and then just land up feeling exhausted for the rest of the day. And I thought it was just because I was pushing myself and it was a good thing. But what it turned out was that I was pushing myself past its limits, and that I was pushing my body into a state of fight or flight. I was totally stressing it out in the wrong way. And so slow, low impact exercises like a walk, some gentle yoga, that really supports my body. And even to this day, now that I have these things in place, the Aura Ring, and I use a heart strap, a heart rate monitor while I'm exercising to monitor my heart rate so that I'm not pushing myself past what is good for my body. And so this is more of an advanced strategy. And so if you need any more information on that, I would be so happy to share, because I love this topic so much, and I'll talk to anyone who wants to hear about it. In fact, my husband's like, can we just not talk about that anymore? Because he doesn't find it as interesting as I do. Okay, number 4 is stress management. So for beginners, I want you to practice deep breathing exercises. I have a 7-day free course where you can go and subscribe and receive 7 days of breathwork practices for free. I want you to put your name on this list and receive those 7 days and practice for 7 days, non-negotiable, and see how you feel. Deep breathing is vital for living your life in a way that feels like you can actually have energy to do anything. Deep breathing, a lot of us actually breathe so shallow, and deep breathing is the foundation for health, really, in my opinion. So you can practice those deep breathing exercises. There are different strategies that you can use, different practices. It's all part of the 7-day program, and it's free. So yeah, why not? The second thing that you can do is progressive muscle relaxation. You can also just take short breaks throughout the day to rest and recharge. Little naps. I have power naps most days, 20 minutes here and there. Really just helps the brain to reset. It's such a good technique for stress management. But if you're an advanced practitioner, you might want to incorporate mindfulness into your daily activities. So maybe you want to do a meditation in the middle of the day. Maybe you want to go for a meditation walk, a walking meditation. Or perhaps you have other, EFT strategies or anything like that you'd like to incorporate throughout your day that will really help bring you back into the present moment and help you with stress management. Number 5, and the final tip that I have for you, is holistic healing modalities. Okay, so for beginners, you might want to start with practices like aromatherapy. Taking a deep breath in of a lavender oil in the middle of your workday is 100% going to bring you back into the present moment. It's going to stimulate certain neurotransmitters in the brain that really help you to calm and center, take away any sorts of feelings of antsiness or feeling overwhelmed. It's just such a beautiful practice. You can try herbal remedies. Maybe you go and see an acupuncturist, or maybe you join us for the 10-day practice where you learn how to do acupoint therapy with essential oils, and that in itself will help support your health and well-being. Can you hear Lily? Oh, she's so funny. Okay, so for advanced practitioners, you might want to consider more in-depth practices such as Reiki, whether you go to a Reiki practitioner or you learn how to do Reiki on your own. If that's something that you're interested in, please contact me. I can help you and point you in the right direction. You might want to do sound therapy, biofield therapy. Oh my gosh, there are so many different ways that you can help yourself energetically. I highly suggest that you research and consider any of those practices to help you. And before we go, let me just point you in the direction of some resources to perhaps continue your holistic health journey. I've got a couple of books that I've read myself that have been incredibly helpful. They are The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. What else? What other books? Oh, I'll put them in the show notes. There are quite a few other books that I found really helpful. Some apps that I found helpful are Insight Timer, Headspace, Calm. These three, I mean, out of them, I would choose Headspace again and again. I've had a subscription to Headspace for the longest time. It's the app that I suggest to anyone who wants to start meditation because they have incredible beginner programs. And then, of course, if you're looking for community support, please let me know. I will put you in contact with a local or online group that's focused on holistic health. You can connect with like-minded individuals. You can share your experiences, your resources, and it's just such a wonderful way to actually begin on this journey, because doing it with people in a community is always so much easier than trying to do it on your own. Remember, my friends, the key is consistency. You want to do this as often as you can, every day. You start with small, achievable goals. Switch and ditch. Switch out your kitchen cabinets first, then your bathroom cabinets, then start meditating 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. Do a breathwork practice every other day. You don't want to do all of it at once. You will most likely feel overwhelmed and then quit before you've even gotten past day 3. So small, achievable goals, and then gradually incorporate more practices into your routine as you feel comfortable. Listen to your body, adjust your routine as needed to support your health and well-being. And if you would like to work with a coach one-on-one to help you develop these inner resources, these tools to learn what works for you and what doesn't, please contact me via the link in the show notes. It's my Connect page, and I will be in touch to organize a chat with you via Zoom. It has been so great to be with you today. I can't believe I've been talking for a full 52 minutes. If you've got any questions about anything that we've spoken about, please feel free to reach out. Give this episode to someone that you love, send it along, let them know that you're thinking of them. And if there are any suggestions for future episodes or any comments that you'd like to make, please feel free to reach out. And I cannot wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to being with you in the next episode. Bye for now.